In the last 3 years, over 666,000 tech workers have lost their jobs. In 2024 alone, companies eliminated more than 150,000 roles across hundreds of organizations. And in 2025, that number is still climbing.
Amazon says it's cutting 14,000 jobs.
UPS says it cut about 48,000 jobs.
Microsoft that basically they're going to cut 9,000 workers in a second wave.
These aren't struggling companies trying to survive. These are trillion-dollar giants posting record profits, cutting workers while their stock prices rise. And the people they're laying off, they're not waiting for the next hiring cycle. They're walking away from Silicon Valley entirely. So where are all these laid-off tech workers going next? And how are they transforming the job market? Overhiring after the pandemic and the fastest interest rate hikes were the obvious triggers of this layoff crisis. But those explanations only tell part of the story, because one force is permanently reshaping the labor landscape, not just in tech, but for every job done by humans: artificial intelligence.
And I can easily imagine a world where 30–40% of the tasks that happen in the economy today get done by AI.
In fact, artificial intelligence is going to transform our lives, but will it be for the better or worse?
Amazon, Meta, and Alphabet all made the same move at the same time. Right after experiencing unprecedented growth during the pandemic, they began pouring billions of dollars into AI, and almost simultaneously, they started cutting their workforces. In October, Amazon announced the largest ever round of layoffs in its history, slashing 14,000 corporate roles, as it looks to invest in its biggest bets, which includes AI. But this trend quickly spread to other tech giants. Meta has laid off approximately 600 employees across its AI infrastructure units, including the fundamental AI research team. Microsoft has cut a total of around 15,000 through 2025. In fact, AI was responsible for almost 55,000 layoffs in the US this year. According to top executives at these companies, the cuts were painful but necessary. They argued that firms had become bloated, expanding rapidly during the pandemic without fully considering the long-term consequences. Projects that once justified massive hiring were suddenly shut down. Entire teams were built for growth scenarios that no longer existed. So the companies that hired aggressively during the pandemic came to the same conclusion. They simply didn't need as many people anymore. But while executives framed the layoffs as strategic corrections, the impact on workers was anything but abstract. For tech employees, they were a shock to careers, identities, and the assumption that tech was still a safe place to build a future. And that's when the real shift began. Tech workers stopped asking who was hiring and started asking what else they could become. As of early 2024, over 60% of laid-off tech workers who changed careers left the tech industry entirely. One former engineer explained it simply. You see article after article about layoffs. A job gets posted on LinkedIn, and within an hour, there are 200 applicants. You're grinding through interviews again and again. It wears you down. This isn't what a temporary downturn looks like. This is what a one-way exit looks like. Look at where these workers actually went. About 10% moved into financial services, 8% into general services, 7% into consulting, 6% into manufacturing. Only 4% stayed in IT. The rest scattered across industries that had nothing to do with Silicon Valley's promise of innovation and disruption. And here's the paradox. The job market overall is strong. Unemployment has stayed near historic lows. Companies are hiring. So why aren't experienced tech workers, many with 10 or 15 years of expertise, coming back? The Massachusetts Institute of Technology released a study in November showing that AI can already do the job of 11.7% of the US labor market and save as much as $1.2 trillion in wages across finance, healthcare, and other professional services. So these laid-off workers aren't desperate. Many of them had options. Roughly 1 in 4 laid-off tech workers who started businesses turned down job offers to pursue entrepreneurship instead. More than half launched those businesses within 6 months, and many reported earning the same or more than they did before. So why leave? The answer becomes obvious when you look at the people who stayed. More than 70% of full-time tech workers report burnout. Engineering leaders report even higher levels. Nearly half the industry is operating in a state of chronic exhaustion. But here's the contradiction. Most of those burned-out workers also say they're highly engaged. They're working harder than ever while emotionally checking out. The pressure keeps rising. Companies expect higher output through AI tools, broader skill sets, more responsibility. Over 60% of tech workers report expanded workloads, and many are managing more people with fewer resources. The work keeps growing, the security keeps shrinking. Even workers who survived layoffs describe a constant sense of impending doom, never knowing when the next cut will come. And once that fear sets in, loyalty disappears. But there's a deeper reason these workers aren't coming back, even when they could. It's not just burnout, it's betrayal. Tech was supposed to be different. For years, tech sold itself as more than a job. It was an identity. Then reality hit. Companies told employees to use generative AI tools everywhere possible, and months later, quietly eliminated entire roles. Learn AI or become obsolete. But for many workers, that wasn't motivation to stay. It was confirmation that the industry saw them as replaceable. And here's the most unsettling part. Many of these layoffs may not have been necessary at all. Experts describe what's happening as copycat layoffs, a form of social contagion in tech. One company cuts staff, its stock price rises, and suddenly every boardroom asks the same question: why aren't we doing that? So what happens when an entire generation of tech workers decides the industry isn't worth it anymore? Burned out employees are far more likely to leave. Many workers who are still employed say they're staying out of necessity, not belief. Now, interest in switching careers remains high, and experienced engineers, the people who mentor teams and maintain complex systems, are walking away permanently. That's not just a hiring problem. That's institutional knowledge leaving forever. And when the next boom arrives, because it always does, companies will scramble to hire. But the workers they traumatized, they'll be busy running businesses, working stable jobs elsewhere, or simply refusing to return. Laid-off tech workers aren't coming back because Silicon Valley broke an unspoken contract. For decades, tech convinced the world's brightest minds that changing the future meant working for them. Now those same minds have discovered something else. The biggest disruption wasn't AI. It was realizing their lives mattered more than the companies they were asked to sacrifice them for. They're not coming back to see if things will be different next time. They already know the answer.